guys that can do anything to me by themselves. I have to have two people to have any kind of competition.
We saw you in a previous match where you took on two good professional wrestlers and beat them both. And I was just wondering, how do you develop your wrestling technique?
I just do what it takes to get the job done, just like the Destroyer's doing right now. He's beating this guy. He shouldn't even be in the same ring with him, just like he shouldn't be in the same ring with me.
MWA Wrestling referee Sean O'Brien keeping law and order in the ring. The Destroyer, there again, outweighs Mike Holliday, and he's...
Don't be trying to make excuses for Holliday because he's a punk at 205 pounds. If he wants to get in there with a man, he always got to take what happens.
Well, that's the way it is in professional wrestling. And here at MWA, if they issue a challenge, we see that they're able to get in the ring with whom they issue the challenge to. Commando Boone is helping us out here at the announcing booth. He's our co-host, and we're certainly glad to have him.
That's right. I'm sure all the people are glad to hear me out here today. They're going to see me in action here in just a few minutes against this guy. He's some masked guy that I'll probably beat the puff out of because I just don't like him. I don't like him at all.
Commando Boone, one of the top professional wrestlers.
300-pound drop kick right there. Tore his head off.
The Destroyer, drop kick, Mike Holliday, 300 pounds according to Commando Boone. Commando Boone, one of the top professional wrestlers in MWA country. And we would like to invite all the fans into our matches. When we come to your area, help support MWA Wrestling. Come out and see these wrestlers that you see on television. And Commando Boone is going to be in your towns with MWA Wrestling. And in fact, we're going to be in Cleveland, Georgia soon. So we'd like to invite you folks in Cleveland to be watching for Commando Boone in your town. Commando?
I can just sit back here and enjoy this pain and punishment he's delivering. He's just beating him like a dog out there. I love it.
The Destroyer working on Mike Holliday, and it's all over. The Destroyer over Mike Holliday in 3.5 minutes. The Destroyer, the winner of this match. And we'll be right back with more MWA Wrestling right after this message.
That's Lawrenceville, Georgia, Friday, August 25th at the National Guard Armory, 8 p.m. with such stars as Mike Hart, the Commandos, John Michael, Nelson Royal, the world's junior heavyweight champion, and many other stars, as well as Steve Lawler. Don't miss MWA Championship Wrestling, 25th, Lawrenceville, Georgia, 8 p.m., National Guard Armory. Be there.
That's right, Dan. You know, here we are looking at Mike Hart, one of the most upcoming wrestlers. He's made a real famous known right now, the belly-to-belly suplex. And you can see the fire he's got in him right here.
Mike Hart from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Mike weighs in at 255, and his opponent over there, Kevin Kirby, weighs in at 215, so Mike does have the edge in this match, John.
Well, Mike has the edge, but of course Mike is inexperienced. He hadn't been wrestling in a long time. I don't know anything about Kevin Kirby. I look at Mike Hart coming out on top, but a young, upcoming wrestler taking challenges on from everybody. I know he's taking on the Commandos. He's taking on anybody he can get a hold of. He's wanting to learn. He's wanting to learn how to wrestle. I've had a lot of talks with the young kid, and he's doing a great job. There you see a pull of the hair by Mike Hart. Well, what can I say? If you can look at ringside right now, you can see Purple Haze walking up to the side of the camera.
Purple Haze 1 and 2 from parts unknown. They're here in MWA territory and raising a lot of havoc. Kevin Kirby on the mat now. Kevin from Albany, Georgia, seems to be holding his own with Mike Hart.
Well, he seems to be holding his own, but look how Mike Hart has that arm bar cinched in there. The one thing I'm worried about now is the Purple Haze. Evidently, they're scouting now. I've had my run-ins with the Purple Haze. I don't know if they could jump in or not. I don't know why they would want to. Evidently, they're just scouting talent. They're looking at the young Mike Hart. They've heard rumors. Mike Hart has got the MWA Wrestling on ears right now. They've got everybody here standing up on ears, talking about the victories that he's coming. He's undefeated right now in the MWA. He's doing a real super job. There it is.
1, 2, 3. And once again, Mike Hart is victorious. Took him a minute and a half. MWA Wrestling is coming to Livonia, Georgia on September 8th. You'll see such stars as Nelson Royal, John Michaels. The Commandos will be there.
That's right, we'll be there, and just go away, just go away. Livonia, September the 8th. We're coming back there. Been a long time since you had something like this coming to Livonia, Georgia. Yeah, Nelson Royal's going to be there. John Michaels is going to be there. I don't know who might be there. It doesn't matter. We're going to be there. The Commandos, 800-plus pounds, Livonia, Georgia. National Guard Armory, September the 8th. You go on down to Beasley's Auto Parts, you get your tickets. You go on over to the Anderson Independent office, you get your tickets there. You rush on down to the video cinema, you get your tickets there. I don't care where you get your tickets at, people, but you better get them quick. We're coming there. John Michaels, we're going to beat you. We'll beat Steve Lawler up. We done beat your brother up. We'll beat you both up again. Who can stop this? 800-plus pounds. Livonia, September the 8th at the Armory. Be there, boys.
Samoa tie. His opponent in the corner to my right, accompanied at ringside by nephew Nikita, 110 kilos, Russia's Ivan Koloff.
With ACW Wrestling, two of the top Russian stars who will soon be coming over to MWA. Let's watch.
Nikita's got this fantastic body on him. Ivan has lots of ring experience. Ivan was a nice guy. Nikita's a nice guy. You can't help but like him.
Well, Nikita Koloff, of course, down ringside with Uncle Ivan, and Ivan up against Ty, both big men in that ring and ready to go to war.
Big, solid man.
You got to know that Ivan and Nikita out to make an impression. You know, their second week here on Atlantic Coast Wrestling. They won in a big way last week. I think that they might be able to repeat that performance. Of course, a little tougher competition this week in the Samoan tie.
Ty has really shown himself to be a good competitor at Atlantic Coast Wrestling. We hadn't really heard of him before now, but he's appeared on the scene and can show that he can hold his own.
Well, there's one thing for sure. Ivan and Nikita Koloff have let the folks know they're in the Atlantic Coast Wrestler Conference to stay, and they're ready to take on all comers.
Better believe it. You know, there's a whole cluster of wrestlers around, baby doll, just waiting to knock them out of their national reputations and their national rankings.
That's right, and including Ivan and Nikita making a new coming. Also, Sam Houston has made an appearance on the scene, hasn't he?
There's one we don't want to forget. I mean, one tough customer is Sam Houston.
He's made a lot of impressions on a lot of people coming in here, and he's got a nice big new body that he's really worked on, and he's got a lot of experience. I think he's going to show the people that he's really come to wrestling to be a competitor.
I'll tell you what, Sam's put on about 25 pounds.
Easy, solid 25 pounds.
I met him a couple of years ago when he was touring the Midwestern part of the country. Just went through all the competition out there, came out with some regional titles. He's been on the world tour and on the world circuit.
Right.
And now we're lucky enough to get him back in his home stomping grounds here at Atlantic Coast Wrestling.
That's right. That's one thing is Sam is really hitting it hard and trying to get for that. We're coming up with a heavyweight championship coming up.
Better believe it. As a
soon.
matter of fact, in 2 weeks, we're going to have the preliminary rounds as they eliminate the first couple of wrestlers on the goal of looking forward to the Atlantic Coast Wrestling Champion. Just real quick here, let me point out that Spike of the Mod Squad just found out from the dressing room area, has drawn a bye and will advance to the finals of the tournament we held 1 week from today for the TV Championship. He'll meet the winner of today's TV title tournament match between Tommy Angel and Colt Steele.
That should be interesting to see how Tommy Angel and Colt Steele do, but they also won previous, like last week, and now they're advancing to this week, and then the finals are next week.
Better believe it.
Well, there's a test of strength going on in the ring between Ty and Ivan Koloff. Of course, he kind of gets him in the rope, and the referee says, all right, let's break, gentlemen.
Ivan did a count of 3, very legal and within the means of the rules of professional wrestling.
And you know, Ivan Koloff is deceptively strong. He can vary his weight between 20 and 30 pounds almost at will. And those big tattooed arms, better believe it, pack a lot of muscle behind them.
Well,
He knows how to use it, too.
This TV tournament ought to be one real wham banger.
You better believe
It
it.
has been so far. It really has been. And we still got what coming up will be, Spike had a bye.
He's gone to the finals. It'll be held next week. And in just a couple of minutes, Tommy Angel will take on Colt Steele to find out who meets Spike of the Mod Squad for the TV Championship.
Exchange of blows going on in the ring. I mean, Ivan and Ty, both of them letting each other have
up on their skin, too, so you know those have got to be stinging by now.
You know, nephew Nikita is down there cheering on his Uncle Ivan, and that's got to be a great psychological advantage to the Russian Bear as he battles his tooth and nail with this Pacific Islander.
Well, it's kind of hard to think about when Nikita's yelling at you. You've got a lot of strength and a lot of momentum behind you.
And it gives you kind of, I guess, that urge to get things done real quick because you don't want to make it mad even if you are his uncle.
Family, too, you kind of listen to family members a little bit more than the general public.
Well, I think these two guys are about to get each other's brew percolating because the steam is beginning to roll, and I believe they're getting mad.
Not a whole lot of scientific action going on in the ring now. It's just a brute test of strength between two very, very tough men.
Even though Ty doesn't want to stay within the rules very much in his match, I wouldn't want to try and trade rule breakers with Ivan.
Not a lot of people have the guts to stand toe-to-toe and try to out-muscle and out-fight Ivan Koloff. Because at one time, of course, Ivan was the equal of any rule breaker in this sport.
He still is, and even though Ty may be getting one good shot and Ivan's coming back with 5 or 6 that will equal that or better what Ty's laying into Ivan. In fact, Ty, I don't think really knows where he's at. Here comes Ivan. Oh!
Koloff caught him with that short knee and back Ty into the ropes to set him up for Ivan Koloff's favorite move. Bill is climbing those ropes.
I'll tell you, here's
Russian
the big
sickle. Yeah!
sickle. He's on the, he won't get up from that.
What a move, huh?
Big sickle off of the second rope. That's it. I mean, no one does it better than Ivan. Let's take a look at that Russian sickle off the second rope.
Nephew Nikita opening the rope for the Russian Bear. There Ivan sits. Full power finds its mark.
Boom. That's it for the one. Now we have the finalists going into the TV title tournament next week. But Ivan, I noticed you have a little secret list there. What are you up to?
Well, you know, whenever you have a tournament of this magnitude for the TV title, the blood stirs up in all the competitors, you know, and that's enough whenever you see the greed, the selfishness, and the tempers start flying because the prize is there and everybody's trying to go after it. But I see this Nelson Royal, junior heavyweight champion, is over there influencing these young wrestlers over in the other dressing room, like L.A. Stevens, Cold Steel, this D.I. Gomer Pyle, Doug Summers, the Mod Squad. Well, Captain Nelson, as we call you over here, because that's the way that you have labeled yourself by leading everybody around down the wrong path. Well, you have veterans over here. You have young, aggressive wrestlers over in our dressing room also, just like the Tommy Angel, David Eisby, Ricky Nelson, and the veterans like Nikita and myself. The great Sam Houston, of course, along with the beautiful baby doll. And we got some of these young guys who are coming down Nelson Royal. I'm bringing them to my gym. Tommy Angel training at my gym. And right now, Uncle Ivan, I think we should stay around and watch Sam Houston in the ring and see what he can do.
Rick Stewart, back to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the corner to my right at 260 pounds, Atlanta, Georgia's pretty boy, Doug Summers. His opponent, 235, Waco, Texas, Sam Houston.
Well, wrestling fans, I'll tell you one thing. This should be a doozy because Sam Houston is back and ready in the ACW, and he has got the vicious, cocky Doug Summers.
Way to make a debut. I mean, not a way to make a debut.
I agree.
Sam a little bit too much.
Well, look at Sam. He didn't even get to get his attire off, and Mr. Doug Summers thought, well, he'd just destroy it right rapidly, right quickly, and really went to work on Sam Houston. But I'll tell you one thing. Let Sam revise himself and look out. That man's in trouble. Doug Summers can look out.
That's right. Maybe Doug Summers has been known to end a few careers of some wrestlers. I don't think he's going to do that to Sam. Sam's going to catch his second win and come back.
Summers picks Sam Houston up, drops him to the ring hard, and then an elbow right to the neck, almost the throat.
Ooh, that could be really dangerous, especially right there because it can land against your face, against your throat. Sam's making a good comeback, though, laying in some big fists, fighting a little southpaw there, it looks like.
Look at Sam Houston pick up that biggie.
Turned that body slam, didn't he?
Sam Houston's got that explosive kind of power. So it just comes, you don't get it in the gym. It's either in you or it's not, and he's got it.
That's exactly right. And baby, now I'll tell you what, he just got like, he struck a match, lit his fire, and all of a sudden he come back like a madman on Doug Summers.
That was it. He had had enough from Doug Summers. He's going to show Mr. Summers how to wrestle and what Sam Houston is all about.
But now Doug Summers is one of the most deceptive wrestlers in the sport.
He's slowing Sam's pace down.
He'll back off into that corner, exactly like you said, baby doll. Cut the tempo, change the tempo of the match, and then when you least expect it, some kind of devious, underhanded stunt that puts it back on top.
It's changed. The tempo has changed. Just bam, just like
Sam
that.
was making a little bit of comeback, had things going his way. Summers takes a little slide out. Sam's got to build back his momentum.
Now, there's a honestly, now, baby doll, of the three of us, you're the best equipped to judge it because you've been in that position before. Does it really put like a downshift on you when somebody cuts off a tempo of a match like that?
It really does, and especially, you know, in a situation where Sam's trying to make a name for himself, coming out, making his debut on ACW. He's trying to make the best possible first appearance that he can, and you can't I mean, he's got to control this match. He has just got to, and if he's not, this is what happens. He gets fists up to the side of the head.
That's true. Now, promoters all across the country, of course, watch the TV wrestling matches with a special bit of interest to see who is climbing to the top of the ladder in a particular area. And with the ACW heavyweight title tournament starting in just 2 weeks, a lot of emphasis is being placed on win-loss records, on television.
Well, Doug Summers has really been punishing Sam Houston. I mean, just punishing him brutally. But Sam Houston is a fighter to come back and watch him. He may want to break, but an elbow to the stomach. Talking about that tournament, Rick.
Standing drop kick. Even though Sam's put on a little bit of weight, he can still get that body up there. He didn't lock the leg. God, it's just a little mistake.
Okay, fans, I understand we've got to go away to a commercial for just a second. We will keep the machines rolling. If a pinfall or submission occurs while we were away, we will have it to you.
MWA Wrestling comes to Lawrenceville, Georgia.
That's Lawrenceville, Georgia, Friday, August 25th at the National Guard Armory, 8 p.m. with such stars as Mike Hart, the Commandos, John Michael, Nelson Royal, the world's junior heavyweight champion, and many other stars, as well as Steve Lawler. Don't miss MWA Championship Wrestling, 25th, Lawrenceville, Georgia, 8 p.m., National Guard Armory. Be there.
Gone back and forth, seesawed. Both men have come within inches of putting the other one away. All in all, fans, you owe it to yourself to be live at the matches every chance you get so you don't miss a second.
Notice the tape, baby doll, on both of Sam's and Doug Summers' arms has been unveiled a bit. They've been using that tape, and Sam used it after Doug Summers got a bit brutal with it.
Doug Summers started, but I think Sam Houston finished that little entourage because I think Doug Summers found out that Sam Houston is made of a little bit more than he did a couple of years ago.
Doug Summers with those deceptive short punches that seem to come out of nowhere. Now, for at least from where we're sitting, looks like he may have that hand right square around Sam Houston's throat.
Well, I think Sam Houston may be a bit tired, so is Doug Summers, but you're going to see Sam Houston re-fire up, and it's going to be like Cape Canaveral on the launch pad when they send another shuttle up. He's going to literally jump on him like a leapfrog.
I sure hope so, because we are expecting a lot of things from Sam Houston. The referee has just almost lost control of this match because the men are trying so hard. Doug Summers has this reputation. He has ended a couple of wrestlers' careers that have just started out. Sam Houston is here trying to make a name for himself in the Carolinas. It's been an interesting match, really back and forth, back and forth.
Speaking of critical matches, of course, the finals of the TV title tournament. 1 week from today as Tommy Angel squares off against the Mod Squad Spike. Then in 2 weeks, the elimination process starts for the Atlantic Coast Wrestling Heavyweight Champion.
And I believe that both of these men are entered in the title match, aren't
I believe they are, and the ACW is going to be unveiling their new ACW championship belts in a matter of just a few weeks.
Fantastic.
I'd like to see that one.
Doug Summers continuing with a rear chin lock on Sam Houston, and you get a real good look at the wear and tear that this match has put on this young man.
That's just it. Sam Houston is trying with everything he's got.
Now look
He'll
here.
come back. He's cutting off his ear.
He's literally masking the face of Sam Houston, covering the nose and mouth. No way to
It's really hard, especially you can tell that the guys have broken a sweat. They're really wrestling hard in this match. You're really trying to breathe, and you can't. Sam Houston's laying those punches. Let's see if he can really get Doug Summers going now.
He's got Summers bobbing in a wee bit.
Boom!
Looks like an Easter parade.
No.
And the duck just come out of the basket and hit the ropes.
It did with a big squash, didn't it?
Houston, a good pin attempt. He had the leg posted. Doug Summers, I thought when he hit the canvas, I saw his eyes roll back up in his head. That was very, very close for the pretty boy.
Summers has got little stars floating around his head. Little birds are singing.
And he just got a few more because Sam Houston...
Big suplex, hook the leg.
Not quite.
Summers is just not done yet. Not ready to stick the fork in him yet.
Doug Summers, a fantastic defensive wrestler. He'll really surprise you with the amount of punishment that he can take and still mount an offensive in a match.
He caught Sam Houston with one in the midsection and then one across the forehead. Put Sam back over to the ropes momentarily. Then he slaps him a bit. That makes Sam Houston angry.
Mental warfare.
It's every single point that Sam Houston is leaving open on his body, like when he was getting up his midsection and his back. Summers is just laying little chops or little pops into him just to wear down his entire body.
Well, again, Summers tries to pin Houston. Count of two. Houston's right back up off the mat with that shoulder. No way.
He's getting that shoulder just enough off the mat to break the 3 count. Summers has got him all kinds of tied up. Doug Summers isn't off his man, but he's nowhere near putting Sam's shoulders to the mat for that final slap of 3, which is all that counts.
Maybe now Sam Houston just about has to be almost semi-conscious if he's going to give it up for the count of 3.
At this point, I would think that Sam would have to be unconscious, Stephen, because he's trying so hard. You've seen the punishment that he's taken, and he keeps getting back up. He wants to win, and he wants to win bad.
Houston,
look at his face.
Trying to fight his way out. Comes up with a long arm bar.
Just like what I said, a little open spot. Doug Summers lays an elbow into him.
Right into the eye. At that time, that's very painful, too. Because bam, into the corner post. Now Houston's fired up, and he comes back with a couple of lashes. Give him the same dose of medicine.
That's it. Sam Houston has had enough of getting pop shots to the eyes. He's going to show Doug Summers what Sam Houston is really made of right now.
Rick, this crowd's on Sam Houston's side right quick, too.
This could be the moment that Sam Houston's been waiting for. The crowd is there.
Man, right on the back of the head, all of his weight.
Summers is such a slick defensive wrestler. A lot of people, because he's not exactly the most flashy or aerial-oriented wrestler, tend to put him down a little, but he is nasty in them ropes.
After that pounce on the head, Summers comes back with a drop knee right into the throat, and Houston is still fighting back.
Hang on.
Summers got a handful of tights, so Doug Summers is reaching for every little thing that he can get a hold of. I think he thinks that Sam Houston might win in this match if he doesn't keep up on him.
Summers throttling Houston. He's got all his weight across Sam's throat. Bill, that's got to cut down on this young man's win.
Well, when that happens, you begin to really you can see Sam Houston. He can barely pick himself up. Summers now puts that loose tape around the neck, cuts his air pipe off again. Then the referee finally gets a little bit of control.
Unfortunately, it is to an extent legal because you do have to count of 5 to break it. So if you can get to like 4.5, it's within the rules, unfortunately.
You'd be real surprised how much damage somebody like Doug Summers can do in 3 or 4 seconds.
That's just it, especially if he keeps up. But Sam's wanting to win. He wants to get that big win, first debut match on the ACW. He's not going to give up that easy to Doug Summers.
Now the exchange of blows. Left and a right, pouncing away, Houston and Summers. Then Summers comes back and just scrapes across the eyes. Does he have him? He may have a pin. He has a pin. Houston.
Sam Houston, small package, got Doug Summers. Oh, no.
Oh, Summers pushing over the top rope onto the concrete floor here in the arena.
Another sore loser here at ACW, and there goes
the referee out.
Doug Summers is just
now Sam is hot. He's won this match. He gets over the referee. Fans don't leave us. Sam Houston wants back in that ring, and the referee don't want to let him back in. Boy, if Sam Houston gets back in that ring, it is going to be on. Sam Houston's still trying to get in the ring, can't do it. Let's take a look exactly what happened, baby doll. Here is Doug Summers pulling Sam by the hair, hoping to really pounce him and weaken him even more. Sam takes advantage, pulls him down, pins him.
We're talking with Dino Manelli, one of the superstars of MWA Wrestling. Dino?
Let me tell everybody something. No matter where it is, whether it's Winder, Georgia, Douglasville, Georgia, Athens, Georgia, Washington, Georgia, Livonia, Georgia, it doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter who it is. Mike Hart, Tommy Angel, John Michaels, Steve Lawler, Nelson Royal. You're on the top of the hill right now, Nelson Royal. You got the belt. You're looking for Rick Nelson, but never, ever turn your back on me.
Great match lined up here at MWA Wrestling. We have John Michaels weighing in at 228 pounds, taking on the Purple Haze from parts unknown, and his weight's unknown. John Michaels being from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, very popular young wrestler in the MWA territory. And sitting with me tonight is the one and only Commando Boone.
Well, I think it's obvious that John Michaels should have stayed in retirement right here. I don't know that much about these Purple Hazes, but Michael should have stayed behind the desk where he belongs. I don't think he can handle this man.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Commando, because John Michaels did come out of retirement to help us out here at MWA Wrestling. He's going to be wrestling all over Georgia and all over MWA territory. The board of directors of MWA Wrestling went to John Michaels, sat down in a conference with him, and said, "We want you. Would you please come out of retirement?"
Well, I'm sure he's getting a pretty penny for this, and he'll probably need it to pay his hospital bills if he ever gets in the ring with me. He should have stayed behind the microphone instead of in the ring.
John Michaels is a foe to be reckoned with by any means, Commando. You know, coming out of retirement, he must know something.
It looks like he's got his hands full right now with the Purple Haze #1.
The Purple Haze #1, behind a mask, parts unknown, weights unknown, would not provide any information at all to the MWA Wrestling officials.
That's about 4 times he's picked him up and dropped him on his back. His back cannot be in condition to take that kind of punishment.
I guess not, staying behind the mic and sitting at a desk as long as John Michaels did. But he's a very determined young athlete. Very determined. He was out earlier talking with us about coming out of retirement, and he said that, you know, he enjoyed doing wrestling commentating.
But you see he pulled his trunks right there. It was obvious he pulled his trunks again. Anybody can come out of retirement if they're going to do that kind of stuff.
Well, now, I don't think John Michaels would stoop that low, Commando. I'm not arguing with you, of course. But
just like you did. You were looking right at it.
I was looking at some papers I have in front of me. I didn't see.
The Purple Haze is trying to tell the referee what happened.
Now, John Michaels, the John Michaels I know, the John Michaels that is in the ring, is a very clean, very talented, professional young athlete. And I don't think he would, well, not arguing with you, Commando. There again, I was not looking at the monitor, so I don't know what happened.
Again, look at that. He's got his right trunks again.
Well, it seems like Purple Haze hit the floor. Bounced out of the ring and hit the floor. The Purple Haze. But he's getting back in the ring. Wait a minute. The Purple Haze.
Yeah, he hurt his back. I think he's
hurt. He may be hurt, but I think there's been a switch.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all.
Well, I believe the wrong man is in the ring. I think they have switched. They look so much alike. You can't tell any difference. I think there's a switch. Referee Sean O'Brien checking things out in the ring. John Michaels out of retirement now, working with us in MWA Wrestling. We're going to make MWA the best wrestling organization in the state of Georgia. Well, in the southeast as far as that goes. John Michaels, very athletic. In the ring now, and in my opinion, he's in the ring against the wrong Purple Haze. That is not the same wrestler.
They're not paying you to give your opinions. They're paying you to commentate these matches. So let's just call what we see, and I didn't see him switch.
Right, sir. How right you are. And the action continues. MWA action. Lockup between Purple Haze #1, supposedly, and John Michaels.
That's right. You had it right. Purple Haze #1.
John Michaels in the ring, out of retirement, here tonight to be on MWA Wrestling. And we're certainly glad to have him back. Ooh, shoulder block by Purple Haze #1. Oh! What about that, Commando?
I don't have anything to say about it.
Hip lock by John Michaels. Purple Haze #1 on the floor, out of the ring. Referee Sean O'Brien. Warning John Michaels to stay in his corner and let the Purple Haze get back in the ring. John,
you think he's in there with the wrong one now?
Well, I'm not going to make any comment. I was looking at the monitor, but you know, Commando, no argument out of me. I'm, like you say, I'm paid to call what I see, not put my opinion down.
See that? He wanted to shake hands with the man, and he attacked him like that. What kind of fan favorite is that? Is that what the fans want to see?
Well, the Purple Haze slid out under the rope, and of course the referee broke the hold. John Michaels, fantastic athlete, getting a good workout here tonight with the Purple Haze. I can't tell you which Purple Haze because it's obvious that there was something going on. John hit in the head.
It looked like he was kind of clumsy to me, and he hit his own eyes on the rope.
Well, from where I was sitting, that may have happened, but I don't... Oh, clothesline by Purple Haze. The Purple Haze #1, clothesline, John Michaels. John coming out of retirement to wrestle here tonight. John had been doing a lot of wrestling commentating around the area.
Back into it after this.
Well, Commando, this match is far from being over, you know, and as you well know, sometimes they switch. You know, it can look like a man's down, but unless he's out, there's still time.
Look at him, he's using a fist.
John Michaels tangling up with Purple Haze #1. Drop kick by John Michaels, and the fans go wild. John Michaels out of retirement, dishing out a lot of punishment on Purple Haze #1. You can hear the fans in the background. They're really behind John Michaels from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The Purple Haze out on the floor. My co-host this evening is Commando Boone. Commando in MWA territory, wrecking a lot of havoc. And we understand that you're going to be wrestling tonight.
That's right. John Michaels has got Purple Haze on the run right now, but I got a feeling he's going to come back on him here, and they're going to get a victory. Excuse me, the Purple Haze is going to get a victory.
Well, now, it seems like that John Michaels is tougher than we thought he was going to be. You know, I understand that sitting behind the desk and behind the mic, you don't get a lot of exercise, but I don't think John has let himself go.
Well, he looks in pretty good shape. He's really surprised me here. This match is about 8 minutes old now, and John's still in there, but he looks like he's on his last leg, so to speak.
Well, I can say this for John. Tonight here, he's had a lot of determination and a lot of stamina, and it's holding up well in the ring for him right now. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more wrestling action from MWA. Hello, wrestling fans. I'm Danny Gable with MWA Wrestling. MWA Wrestling is coming to your town, so be on the lookout for us. MWA Wrestling superstars are Abdullah the Butcher, Nelson Royal, John Michaels, the Rock and Roll Express. So don't miss us. MWA Wrestling. And we're back with wrestling action from MWA Wrestling. In this match, John Michaels, out of retirement, is taking on Purple Haze #1 and doing a good job. Purple Haze bounced into the turnbuckle and bounced again into the right turnbuckle. John Michaels, out of retirement, working on Purple Haze #1.
Well, he's working on him, and he's got him on the ropes. I'll have to give the devil his due right now.
Let me introduce my co-host here tonight, Commando Boone. Commando Boone, back in MWA territory, and of course, his 400-plus pounds is wreaking havoc everywhere he goes. John Michaels taking on the Purple Haze. John Michaels, very good professional wrestler, a very good young athlete, and we're certainly proud to have him.
Got him backed into a corner right now. He's backed into a corner, and I don't know if he's going to be able to come out of it.
Well, I imagine in his wrestling career that John Michaels has been backed in several corners, and he's still here.
I think the Purple Haze team has proved too much. Excuse me, the Purple Haze #1 has proved to be too much.
Fernando, I think you were right when you said the Purple Haze team, because I still believe early on that there was a switch, but then there again, I'm just paid to call what I see. John Michaels, coming out of retirement here tonight to be with us on this MWA televised match. MWA Wrestling is coming to your town. Be on the lookout for us, because when you see MWA Wrestling, you see the best in professional wrestling. 1, 2, 3, and it's all over! It's all over! John Michaels beat Purple Haze #1. It's all over. Wait a minute.
It's over. Now it's really over.
Wait a minute. They're double-teaming John Michaels, rather. They're double-teaming. The Purple Haze is double-teaming John Michaels. What? Commando, what's going on?
Now, Mr. Liberty's got no business sticking his nose into this match. He's got no business being in there. He should not be allowed. He should be fined heavily and sent out of the ring right now.
Mr. Liberty coming to the aid of John Michaels. The Purple Haze. Purple Haze 1 and 2 ganging up on John Michaels. Mr. Liberty. Justice and freedom for all. Mr. Liberty in the ring, hipping out John Michaels. John Michaels calling Purple Haze 1 and 2, parts unknown, weight unknown, back into the ring.
Oh, isn't that...
MWA Wrestling comes to Lawrenceville, Georgia.
That's Lawrenceville, Georgia, Friday, August 25th at the National Guard Armory, 8 p.m. with such stars as Mike Hart, the Commandos, John Michaels, Nelson Royal, the world's junior heavyweight champion, and many other stars, as well as Steve Lawler. Don't miss MWA Championship Wrestling, 25th, Lawrenceville, Georgia, 8 p.m., National Guard Armory. Be there.
And the MWA action continues, and we're ready. The timekeeper has just rang the bell in this match. We'd like to introduce Purple Haze #2 from parts unknown, and his weight is also unknown. Would not talk with us. Would not talk with any of the MWA officials. Very obnoxious toward the MWA officials. Says he's here to clean house with everyone that's working for MWA Wrestling. Mr. Liberty, weighing in at 250 pounds, parts unknown, but very courteous, very nice, just an all-around nice guy against Purple Haze #2. And we'd like to remind you, fans, that you're watching the Major League of Professional Wrestling, the Major League of Professional Wrestling, MWA Wrestling. In the future, MWA Wrestling is going to bring some of the better-known names of the sport of professional wrestling to the state of Georgia. We have a lot of deals and a lot of agreements and contracts in the works that we can't say anything about right now. But just keep watching us here on this TV station, and it won't be long until you'll be seeing some of the top-notch names in professional wrestling. We already have some great young talent with us, Mr. Liberty, in fact. And the Purple Haze. Take them or leave them. Like them or don't. You'll have to hand it to them. They dish it out, and they know the sport of professional wrestling. Great matches is what our goal is with MWA Wrestling. We want to bring you the best in professional wrestling. That's the reason we can safely say that we are the Major League of Professional Wrestling. And the action continues. Mr. Liberty and Purple Haze #2 locking up in the ring. Mr. Liberty against the ropes now. And Mr. Liberty is bounced across the ring into the ropes with hip of Purple Haze #1. And ladies and gentlemen, right now let's make welcome once again John Michaels out of retirement tonight. John Michaels doing a great job against the Purple Haze. The Purple Haze in the ring now working on Mr. Liberty. And Mr. Liberty came to your aid, John. Could you...
Danny, all I know is I can thank Mr. Liberty, maybe not with my life, but with my career. I know they were switching in and out. The referee couldn't see it. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm just thankful that I came out victorious, you know, but I'm out here. I'm going to watch Mr. Liberty today. You know, he came in and saved my career for me. My career could have been in jeopardy. These two guys, I don't know who they are. Never heard of them, but they're two of the toughest. You could tell they know tag team wrestling. I was able to defeat one of them. I don't even know which one I defeated.
Well, John, I was sitting right here watching the monitor, and I don't know which one you defeated, but I would like to congratulate you because your coming home match, your out-of-retirement match, was simply fantastic.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be back in the ring. It's a great person with the W. Hey, wait a minute. I can't hear.
All right. John Michaels. The Purple Haze. There goes John Michaels in the ring. John Michaels in the ring, hipping out Mr. Liberty. Mr. Liberty was double-teamed by Purple Haze 1 and 2. And now John Michaels returning the favor to Mr. Liberty. Mr. Liberty helped John Michaels out. And now you hear the timekeeper ringing in the bell there in the background. And there we have it. Oh, what a move, what a maneuver, what a wrestling maneuver. John Michaels and Mr. Liberty. Wrestling fans, we may be seeing a tag team in the making here. We may be seeing a tag team in the making. We may be seeing... Oh, the action is not over yet. No, it's not over. Mr. Liberty chasing one of the Purple Haze, and he's still... MWA Wrestling comes to Lawrenceville, Georgia.
That's Lawrenceville, Georgia, Friday, August 25th at the National Guard Armory, 8 p.m. with such stars as Mike Hart, the Commandos, John Michaels, Nelson Royal, the world's junior heavyweight champion, and many other stars, as well as Steve Lawler. Don't miss MWA Championship Wrestling, 25th, Lawrenceville, Georgia, 8 p.m., National Guard Armory. Be there.
Well, fans, this is what a lot of you have been waiting for. It's our big tag team main event. We've got Rock Regal and Armstrong in there against Steve the Brawler Lawler and Larry Santana. This Armstrong kid here is a nice-looking young man, but I don't think he can handle either Lawler or Santana. Dan, this is going to be a good match.
Yes, it is, Commando. The team of the Heartthrobs, Rock Regal and David Armstrong, both from Atlanta, Georgia, work together well, and they know the wrestling ropes, so to speak. They've been in the business quite a while, and they're taking on the team of Larry Santana and Steve the Brawler Lawler. We'd like to mention that there is no love lost between Rock Regal and Larry Santana.
That's right. Steve Lawler, he's a top heavyweight all over the country, and anytime he's in the ring, anything can happen.
This is true, and we'd like to add that the North American Junior Heavyweight Championship belt right now is in limbo. It's the belt is in limbo. It's not being worn by either Larry Santana or Rock Regal.
Even though this is a tag team match, should Santana get a pin over Regal or vice versa, then he would definitely be in line to get a shot at that belt, even though it's being held up right now. These are two of the top contenders.
Two of the top contenders for the North American Junior Heavyweight Championship belt.
I just noticed that Lawler and Santana have someone or something in their corner over there. It'll be interesting to see what he does as the match progresses.
Well, he introduced, Larry Santana being he, introduced this gentleman as his doctor. We don't know what type of doctor this gentleman is. Larry Santana being as he is.
You see, that man went for a crossbody, but Lawler, being the technician that he is, he countered that crossbody and took him right down. Not to take away from the doctor, but Lawler is on a roll right now.
Steve Lawler working against David Armstrong, really abusing David Armstrong, one half of the Heartthrobs. David Armstrong down on the mat now, and there you see over in the corner that Larry Santana talking with his doctor.
He's talking with his doctor, but he missed an excellent chance to get a boot in the head of the Armstrong right there. He needs to pay a little bit more attention to his partner and what's going on in the ring.
Larry Santana, according to Commando Boone, should be watching the action in the ring. And there goes David Armstrong through the ropes, out on the floor, thrown through the ropes by Steve Lawler. Larry Santana, again, cutting some annex, along with his doctor over there. We don't know what type of doctor again. We don't know what type of doctor. He could be a doctor of psychology, a medical doctor.
Dan, I'm really not concerned about the doctor. I'm concerned about you not giving me the respect I deserve. I've been sitting here with you for the first few minutes of this match, and you've yet to congratulate me on my fine victory that I knew was going to happen all along.
Okay, congratulations.
Don't mention it.
Okay, I won't. And they've tied up Rock Riggle in the ring now. Rock Riggle tying up with Steve Lawler. Bounced Lawler across the mat. Bounced Lawler across the mat, and Rock Riggle, one half of the Heartthrobs from Atlanta, Georgia, tying up with Steve Lawler once again. And we'd like to mention, ladies and gentlemen, for you folks that are just tuning in, my co-host this afternoon, or this evening, is Commando Boone. And we're certainly glad to have Commando Boone with us, 400-plus pounds, Commando Boone.
I'm sure it's your privilege and pleasure.
Thank you. More action, MWA wrestling action, tag team match. David Armstrong, Rock Riggle against Larry Santana and Steve Lawler.
Why do you always get so excited when one of those pretty little punks makes a little bit of a comeback on one of those men on the other side? I've noticed it all night long. Every time one of the pretty boys does something, you're right there to get excited. Personally, I didn't like it.
Well, it's not the fact that they're pretty boys. That's not what excites me. What excites me is the fact that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're doing it legal within the bounds of the MWA wrestling rules, sir.
I haven't seen Lawler do anything illegal. Santana hadn't done anything illegal.
If they haven't, it's just because they haven't had time.
Well, that's what you say. 2-on-1. I guess that's not illegal right there. He was holding the man's arm while the other man hit him.
Well, as you said earlier, I'm not here to debate right or wrong. I'm just here to call the shot.
I know he's got a 5 count, but if he's such an All-American guy, why didn't he just let the man go?
Well, let's get back to the ring action. I won't answer that question just now because we've got a lot of action going on in the ring, Commando. A lot of good action, a lot of MWA wrestling action. And this is what the wrestling fans that watch MWA wrestling has come to expect. And that's David Armstrong tying up, made a good legal tag. In comes Rock Riggle, tying up with Larry Santana now in the ring. Larry Santana in the ropes. Rock catches him with a shoulder smash as he comes off the ropes. Steve Lawler, Larry Santana taking on the Heartthrobs, Rock Riggle and David Armstrong. Very exciting matches here tonight. A lot of action coming on. In MWA territory, got some great professional wrestlers coming in. Professional wrestlers that will really excite the fans and put the wrestling action into their matches. Larry Santana now pulling Rock Riggle up by the hair. Rock Riggle, one half of the Heartthrobs from Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, Steve Lawler in. Lawler the Brawler. Knocks David Armstrong off the ring apron. Headbutts Rock Riggle. Rock Riggle staggers David Armstrong down. Oh, David's coming around now, back on the ring apron, shaking the cobwebs out of his head. Oh, what a clothesline applied to the neck of Rock Riggle by Steve Lawler. Steve Lawler Yes, Steve Lawler working on the neck of Rock Riggle with the clothesline.
Why don't you say something besides Steve Lawler? They know who the man is. I know he's Steve Lawler. You know he's Steve Lawler. Just say something about that elbow he just drove in the top of his head.
All right, sir. Rock Riggle catches an elbow right in the throat. And we wonder from time to time if there's not something in the elbow pad that is worn by Steve Lawler.
Why do you say that? He's not any indication to do anything with that elbow pad. And you want to say, I think he's busted him open, though, with it. He's a tough elbow. I know that. He's busted him open with it.
Rock Riggle's head's bleeding. His head's beating ferociously. There goes that elbow into the head of Rock Riggle again. Oh, what a blow.
Bust in there. He's got him now. It's over with. I don't think Riggle will be able to make a tag.
I don't know. I tell you what I've seen. I've seen Rock Riggle make some fantastic comebacks. He's not down until that last 3 count.
In other words, it's not over till it's over. Well, buddy, it's over. Look at him.
Well, what would you call that?
I would call it too bad for Rock Riggle.
Well, Rock Riggle, one half of the Heartthrobs from Atlanta, Georgia. Seems like he's in trouble, and as bad as I hate to do it, I'm going to have to agree with Commando Boone. I'm sorry, sir.
He's got him busted open pretty bad now. I love it.
It seems like Rock Riggle is in trouble. He's in trouble deep. He can't reach David Armstrong and make a tag. The crowd is behind Rock Riggle all the way. Rock Riggle just thrown through the ropes. The crowd is chanting, "Go, Rock, go." But it looks bad for Rock Riggle. He's down on the floor, being attended by David Armstrong. He's managing to get up on the ring apron, climbing over the bottom rope. Rock Riggle's head is, another forearm blow with the elbow. And he's made a tag. David Armstrong is in the ring now. David Armstrong from Atlanta, Georgia. One half of the Heartthrobs.
David Armstrong on the ground again, reeling from that elbow.
The ferocious elbow of Steve Lawler.
Get nasty now.
Steve the Brawler Lawler. Working on Rock Riggle's head again. And you can plainly see the blood spurting from Rock's forehead. Oh, he's making, there's
Clothesline, what a clothesline.
What's...
He's got him up for the pile driver. It's going to be a bad one.
Rock Riggle caught in a pile driver by Steve Lawler, Steve the Brawler Lawler. And Larry Santana on the far side of the ring is working on David Armstrong. And it's all over for the Heartthrobs. It's all over for the Heartthrobs, ladies and gentlemen. And the referee is thrown out by Steve the Brawler Lawler. MWA Wrestling comes to Lawrenceville, Georgia.
That's Lawrenceville, Georgia, Friday, August 25th at the National Guard Armory, 8 p.m. with such stars as Mike Hart, the Commandos, John Michael, Nelson Royal, the world's junior heavyweight champion, and many other stars, as well as Steve Lawler. Don't miss MWA Championship Wrestling, 25th, Lawrenceville, Georgia, 8 p.m., National Guard Armory. Be there.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next match is getting underway right now here at MWA. And in the ring, Hal Hooper from, where is Hal from? You know, John?
Hal Hooper from Anderson, South Carolina, weighing in at 210, and he's going up against the wild man, Abdullah the Butcher.
Abdullah the Butcher, weighing in at 400 pounds from Khartoum, Sudan. And now you know why they call him the Wild Man. John, have you had any experience with Abdullah? Oh, there he goes. What? Oh! Abdullah slamming Hal Hooper into the van here. The camera crew. The camera crew is moving. I'm moving. John Michaels has already moved. There is no way that I want to get in front of this gentleman under any circumstances. Hal Hooper's head is bleeding. Abdullah the Butcher has just made short work of him. John, I've never seen anything like this.
You're talking about the wild man from Sudan, Abdullah the Butcher. Here he comes again, and Danny, I'm just going to tell you.
Where we're going to move?
Stay out of his way. Just stay right here.
Does not understand any English. And there he goes. Hal Hooper. Ooh!
Hal Hooper's busted open. Abdullah didn't give him any chance. Running his head not one time, not two times, but three times right into the vans, the TV trucks. If the referee needs to get Abdullah out of here, referee needs to get...
I don't know if we can even show this on television. There he comes with another chair. Watch out, John! Oh! Now! John, I've never seen someone so messed up. Abdullah the Butcher working on Hal Hooper. Oh, right into the steel turnbuckle.
Steel pole. Abdullah the Butcher is one of the widest men in the world. You can expect this from him. Hal Hooper, I don't understand that. This is a match. This match should be gone right now. This match should be out of here. Referee ought to put a stop to this match right now. Send Abdullah back. Just call it quits. Hal Hooper's going to end up getting hurt if he's not careful. Abdullah the Butcher is one of the wildest men. There's no control over him. I don't know who this manager or whatever holding his belt. It's the Brass Knucks World Heavyweight belt. Here you're talking about Abdullah the Butcher, world known, Japan, Puerto Rico, the champion all over the world, one of the top draws everywhere in the world. As you can see why now, wherever he goes, he just destroys people. Karate chop to the throat. Hal Hooper, I don't even think knows where he's at, Danny.
He's a bloody mess. Abdullah the Butcher cannot wrestle on television, banned from wrestling on TV in Texas just because of this. I hope this doesn't happen here in the state of Georgia.
Banned from wrestling on TV, Texas, and a lot of other places. But right here in MWA does not have rules like that. They are going to let anybody they can get. They're going to sign the top talent, bring the top talent, and people, if you can't tell right now, they got the top talent. A shoulder tackle knocks him right out of the ring, right in the front row. The front row is going, look at the crowd. They don't know what's going on right now. You're talking Abdullah the Butcher right here in the MWA, along with a lot of other great wrestlers coming soon.
Superstars of wrestling right here in the MWA. You know, Abdullah the Butcher is the world's brass knuckles heavyweight champion.
He's the world's brass knuckles heavyweight champion. He's held championships all over the world, all different types of championships. The current brass knuckles championship, but it's just this. The referee ought to put a stop for this. Abdullah can put an end to this anytime he wants to, and you're talking about a man that feels no pain. Abdullah has been told before he does not feel any pain, and this is just, looks like he's setting him up here. Look at it. Hal Hooper just does not know where he's at. He's motionless. His nerves just keep him going. There's that big elbow. That's it. That's over with. Wait.
That's it. 3 count. Roaches Public
Wrestling comes to the Georgia Mountain Center Monday night, August 28th at 7:30. It's a battle for the TV title when Sting meets the Great Muta. Rick and Scott Steiner take a shot at the World Tag titles held by the Freebirds. Jim Cornette's Midnight Express takes on the New Zealand Militia, plus much more NWA action. And as a special summer treat from the NWA, all tickets are half price. Get yours now at the box office for great NWA action. It's the NWA at the Georgia Mountain Center Monday night, August 28th at 7:30.
You begin with raw steel.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to MWA Wrestling. My name is Danny Gable along with John Michaels, and we have another hour of action-packed wrestling coming up from MWA. Good evening, John.
Well, Danny, you know, you're not talking just an hour. You're talking an action-packed hour. We have the World Junior Heavyweight Champion, Nelson Royal, on hand. He's going to be taking on Steve the Brawler Lawler, who everybody knows lost all weight to get into the World Junior Heavyweight Champion. It's going to be probably one of his hardest matches of all time. Plus, you got a lot of other wrestlers. The Commandos are in town now, and everybody else. And, hey, John Michaels, Danny Grable, right here. Woo! The only thing you're talking about is MWA Wrestling, right here.
That's right. Right here, MWA Wrestling. We'll be back right after this message.
MWA Wrestling comes to Livonia, Georgia. That's MWA Wrestling in Livonia, Georgia. Friday, September the 8th at 8 p.m. Doors open at 6 o'clock. Advance tickets on sale in Livonia at Beasley Auto Parts, Anderson Independent Office, and Video Cinema. In Hartwell, you can pick up your tickets at Holmes Auto Parts. We have 5 big matches with a big 10-man over-the-top rope battle royal, $1,000 to the winner. A tag team match with John Michaels and Steve the Brawler Lawler against the 800-plus pounds Commandos. Billy Bad Boy Eagle, and Grizzly Boone. Also on the card, Nelson Royal defends his World Junior Heavyweight title against Dino Manelli, the Latin attraction. Mike the Dreammaker Hart and many other top stars scheduled to appear in Livonia, Georgia, September the 8th, 8 o'clock at the National Guard Armory. Don't miss this one, Livonia, Georgia, September the 8th.
Well, John, we're getting ready for action wrestling here at MWA. And everything's set to go.
That's right, Dan. You know, here we are looking at Mike Hart, one of the most upcoming wrestlers. He's made it real famous known right now, the belly-to-belly suplex. And you can see the fire he's got in him right here.
Mike Hart from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Mike weighs in at 255, and his opponent over there, Kevin Kirby, weighs in at 215, so Mike does have the edge in this match, John.
Well, Mike has the edge, but of course Mike is inexperienced. He hadn't been in wrestling in a long time. I don't know anything about Kevin Kirby. I look at Mike Hart coming out on top, but a young, upcoming wrestler taking challenges on from everybody. I know he's taking on the Commandos. He's taking on anybody he can get a hold of. He's wanting to learn. He's wanting to learn how to wrestle. I've had a lot of talks with the young kid, and he's doing a great job. There you see a pull of the hair by Mike Hart. Well, what can I say? If you can look at ringside right now, you can see Purple Haze walking up to the side of the camera.
Purple Haze 1 and 2 from parts unknown. They're here in MWA territory and raising a lot of havoc. Kevin Kirby on the mat now. Kevin from Albany, Georgia, seems to be holding his own with Mike Hart.
Well, he seems to be holding his own, but look how Mike Hart has that arm bar cinched in there. The one thing I'm worried about now is the Purple Haze. Evidently, they're scouting. Now, I've had my run-ins with the Purple Haze. I don't know. They could jump in or not. I don't know why they would want to. Evidently, they're just scouting talent. They're looking at the young Mike Hart. They've heard rumors. Mike Hart has got the MWA Wrestling on ears right now. They've got everybody here standing up on ears, talking about the victories that he's coming. He's undefeated right now in the MWA. He's doing a real super job. There it is.
1, 2, 3. And once again, Mike Hart is victorious. Took him a minute and a half. Mike Hart over Kevin Kirby from Albany, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with more wrestling action from MWA. Talking with Dino Manelli, one of the superstars of MWA Wrestling. Dino?
Let me tell everybody something. No matter where it is, whether it's Winder, Georgia, Douglasville, Georgia, Athens, Georgia, Washington, Georgia, Livonia, Georgia, it doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter who it is. Mike Hart, Tommy Angel, John Michaels, Steve Lawler, Nelson Royal. You're on the top of the hill right now, Nelson Royal. You got the belt. You're looking for Rick Nelson, but never, ever turn your back on me.
MWA Wrestling comes to Livonia, Georgia at the National Guard Armory on Friday, September the 8th. That's MWA Wrestling in Livonia at the National Guard Armory on Friday, September the 8th, 8 p.m. bell time. Doors open at 6 p.m. 5 big matches, including a double main event. 10-man over-the-top rope battle royal, $1,000 to the winner. The Commandos, 800-plus pounds, take on John Michaels and Steve Lawler. Nelson Royal defends his World Junior Heavyweight title against Dino Manelli, the Latin attraction. And Mike the Dreammaker Hart, that's right, girls, the sensational Mike the Dreammaker Hart comes to Livonia on September the 8th. That's Friday, September the 8th at the National Guard Armory. Advance tickets on sale in Livonia at Beasley Auto Parts, Anderson Independent Office, and Video Cinema. In Hartwell, pick up your tickets at Holmes Auto Parts. That's Livonia, Georgia, Friday, September the 8th at the National Guard Armory. Now, more MWA action.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mike Hart, one of the newcomers to MWA Wrestling, and he's wreaking a lot of havoc, beating a lot of veteran wrestlers. Mike from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Well, Mike, it's went up there for you.
Yes, sir, brother. It was an excellent match. It's great to be here with the MWA. Got a lot of fantastic wrestlers. I'm real proud to be here. Okay, wait just a minute. I got something I want to say, especially to you, and I want you to listen and listen good. What I just seen wasn't nothing. We've searched the world over for competition, and we can't find anybody anywhere that's man enough to stay in the ring with either one of us. Well, my friend, we're going to give you the chance of a lifetime right now in the square circle. If you're man enough to get in the ring with either one of us, let's do it right now. Nothing to please me more.
What's going on here? John? Let me get back over here with John Michaels. Mike Hart taking on both of the Purple Haze. You can see the action in the ring now. Mike Hart, not afraid of anything or anybody, taking on Purple Haze number 2, I believe. We can't tell them apart, John. Which one do you think it is?
Danny, I'm not sure which one it is, but Mike Hart's fired up. He's wanting to just tear up Purple Haze. Purple Haze came out here wanting to challenge, and now you can see what's going on now. Purple Haze is getting more than what they asked for, I believe.
They'll certainly have their hands full with young upcomer Mike Hart. Mike Hart taking on Purple Haze number 2, I believe. Can't be sure, because both of them look alike, and they use this to their advantage when they're in the ring. They switch out without tagging each other, and this gives a fresh man against the opponent in the ring at various times in the match.
Well, Danny, you're looking right now at Purple Haze taking a little advantage of the inexperience of Mike Hart. Mike Hart telegraphed a move, and here he is getting jumped on. You know, you're talking 2 men now the same size. You're talking Mike Hart's got a little bit of the weight advantage, but not much size on the weight. But here you're talking Purple Haze with the experience and everything. It's going to be interesting to see if Mike Hart can come out of this. The one thing Mike Hart's got to look after is Purple Haze sitting on ringside here.
But, John, Michael Hart just defeated Kevin Kirby in the ring, and now he's taking on a fresh opponent. What are his chances?
Mike Hart's young. He's aggressive. He's ready to go. Mike Hart could probably be jumping the gun a little bit too soon, I hate to say. You know, you don't want to go right into the match. He didn't even get a time to, you know, catch his breath real good before Purple Haze came out there. And here you go. You're seeing he's wearing him down. He's wearing him down real good right now.
And that's to be expected. Purple Haze, fresh from the dressing room, comes out, challenges Mike Hart. Mike Hart takes him into the ring. He accepts the challenge. They get in the ring, 255-pound Mike Hart against the Purple Haze. Purple Haze 2, I think. I cannot be sure. Purple Haze number 2, I believe, is the one that's in the ring now. It seems like Mike Hart is making a comeback, and this is terrific for a man of the inexperience of Mike Hart.
Well, here he is. He's making his comeback and everything, and you know, it's just going to be interesting to see what happens here.
And we're moving right along. Mike Hart here. Purple Haze down on the floor. Mike Hart. Wait a minute. Did you see that, John? That's the switch we've been talking about. That's the switch we've been talking about.
The referee caught the switch, I believe. He's going to send him out of the ring here now. Mike Hart, you better be looking behind you.
This is one thing that has made the Purple Haze a feared wrestling tag team.
That's right. You know, it's been a unwilling match right here, and Mike Hart's taking too much time and everything. And Danny, it's going to be a good match right here, and Mike Hart's taking it to Purple Haze, but he's got to be watching out after Purple Haze behind him.
Do we have the correct man in the ring now? I assume that we do. I think that's Purple Haze number 2. Now there's the switch again that we have been talking about. That grand old switch. Mike Hart surely has his hands full, wrestling fans. He is taking on both Purple Haze 1 and 2.
Well, you know, here you're talking about, he's taking on both of them. You saw the switch. The referee didn't see the switch. That's something Purple Haze has been doing around the MWA area all over the place. Fans are catching it, people see it, but they're so quick at it, the referee does not see it.
The way they switch, and it's hard. If you can tell from the television that it's difficult. It's even difficult here in the ring. You know how hard it is on TV to tell the difference between the two? And there it is. I thought Mike Hart had a pin there, John.
Well, Mike Hart has, but you're talking about Purple Haze 1 or 2, whichever one this is, the fresh man. It's like a tag match against one man. There's a belly to belly. He's got him.
Almost Mike Hart with a belly to belly. You know, that hold has won him more matches against veteran wrestlers than any hold in wrestling for any other.
Sure has it. He's getting him at it. Here comes the other Purple Haze right behind him, but
not going to let him. That's it. It's all over. It's all over. There comes Mike Hart. Plenty of help in there. Nelson Royal, Lord Nelson Royal, and
Tommy Angel, and also you're seeing the young Ken Shamrock out here. And hey, I'm glad they were out here ringside watching. I can't jump in. I told them if I was here at the commentating table, can't anybody interfere in ringside, but it's a good thing Tommy Angel, Nelson Royal, and Kim Shamrock watching. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with more NWA action.
Wrestling fans, it gives me great pleasure to be interviewing Nelson Royal and Tommy Angel. As you just seen, they come to the aid of Mike Hart. Nelson Royal in MWA territory. Nelson?
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure to be down here. You know, Tommy and I we wrestle for the ACW, but we've got into something really heavy that's going to be, looks like a lot of action, because coming from the ACW and coming down here and getting in with the MWA and wrestling with all of the great talent they got here, looks like we're going to really have something cut out for Tommy and I. And it looks like it started right tonight. I've got Lawler, and believe me, Lawler, I've watched you, and I know what you can do. But remember one thing, when you get in the ring with this man, give no quarter, and believe me, you better have everything ready, and you better have your gun cocked, son, because when I get after your wagon, I'm going to show you what wrestling's all about.
That's right.
Nelson Royal, Tommy Angel.
That's right. You hear saw it on the NWA. What happened? That's a lot of garbage. We're trying to keep things like that from happening in this profession. And I just want to say a couple words to Ricky Nelson. You better say your blessings, because I'm going to teach you a lesson right here in Lawrenceville next time you come around, okay?
Thank you, gentlemen.
I want to say one thing to Lawler. Lawler, I'm sure you're watching a monitor. Remember one thing. You're after the world's junior heavyweight title. I'm not talking about a division title or anything. I'm talking about the world, son. Talking about the one that's the big one. The #1 world's junior heavyweight title that I've taken into Yugoslavia, I've taken to Mexico, I've taken it to Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Korea, Okinawa. I've taken it everywhere. And I have defended the title, and I am still the champion. And believe me, when you get in the ring, I know what's in your mind. You want it, but let me tell you something. Getting it's going to be another job, mister.
MWA wrestling action will continue. And the action begins. In the ring now, Steve the Brawler Lawler, from any place he wants to be, John, and Nelson Royal. Nelson Royal, the world's junior heavyweight champion. Going to be a lot of wrestling action here at MWA.
Well, this is the match, Danny, that I've been really looking for. Oh, wait a minute, what's this?
I'm not familiar with that gentleman, John.
Well, I am. This is Ricky Nelson. He's one of the #1 top 5 contenders for the World Junior Heavyweight Championship, and it looks like I've heard him making arrangements. I've heard him asking Lawler to...
Seems like there's some discussion there between Ricky Nelson and Steve the Brawler Lawler. Nelson Royal. It seems like there's some maybe some bad blood between Nelson Royal and Ricky Nelson, or Steve the Brawler Lawler. You know, Tommy Angel just issued an outright challenge to Ricky Nelson.
Well, I'm telling you, Lawler's telling him it's his chance to wrestle. But it is. Ricky Nelson came out here wanting Lawler's chance to wrestle the World Junior Heavyweight Champion. Lawler recognizes, Lawler realizes you only get one chance in a lifetime to wrestle the World Junior Heavyweight Champion, and this is his chance right now.
Steve Lawler, Steve the Brawler Lawler, and Nelson Royal. This should be an exciting match for wrestling fans, John. We've got two veterans in the ring now, and they know the wrestling game. This is going to be an interesting match to watch.
It's going to be a very interesting match. You're talking about two well-experienced. Of course, Nelson Royal having experience over Steve the Brawler Lawler, but I'm going to tell you something. Nelson Royal, I don't think, knows the Brawler. I know he's very well of his reputation and everything. Steve Lawler's in the top 5 now of the Junior Heavyweight Championship. He's actually in the top 5 of any heavyweight championship.
One thing about Steve the Brawler Lawler, he'll really tell you what he thinks, as he just did the referee. Nelson Royal just quietly waiting his turn at Steve the Brawler Lawler. MWA Wrestling coming to your town. So be on the lookout for us. We'll be in Cleveland, Cornelia, Owen, Decula, and other cities. Steve the Brawler Lawler working on Nelson Royal. Nelson Royal and Steve the Brawler Lawler in the ring right now. Forearm blow to the neck. Knee lift to the chest of Steve the Brawler Lawler.
He's seeing a beautiful headlock, beautiful takeover. That's what Nelson Royal's going to do, the Brawler. I can tell you right now, he's going to slow Lawler down. He's going to tag him. He's going to look at him, hold on the headlock. He brought him out of the headlock. You're talking a wrestling machine against a brawling machine. Lawler's going to try to do everything he can to brawl. Lawler's going to try to do everything he can to fight and wear Nelson Royal down. Nelson Royal, on the other hand, is going to wrestle Brawler, going to wrestle Lawler as hard as he can and wear him down on his wrestling moves.
You know, Nelson Royal is an experienced veteran when it comes to wrestling. And it seems like to me that Steve the Brawler Lawler is going to have his hands full, John.
Steve Lawler's going to have his hands full, but I'm going to tell you something, too. don't cut him short. Nelson Royal is definitely having his hands full, too. As you can see, Lawler has his head scissors cinched in real good. Nelson Royal is coming out of it now. Back to the headlock again. He's cinched in again, and Lawler now is trying to figure out how to get out of this. So here he goes again with the head scissor, and he breaks loose again.
The head scissors on Nelson Royal by Steve the Brawler Lawler. Seems like Steve the Brawler Lawler is breathing exceptionally hard. Seems like he's trying to get that wind into his diaphragm to give him more energy. He's got his hands full with Nelson Royal.
Well, Danny, Ricky Nelson just approaching the table, and the only thing we'd like to know, Ricky, is what was going on out there between you and Lawler?
Well, you know, first of all, I don't know who Lawler thinks he is or where he came from, but, you know, I'm a veteran of 5 years of professional wrestling. I've beaten Nelson Royal for that title before, and that's how he got it back from me. He cheated me out of my title, and I don't know what Lawler's trying to do. I just offered him $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 cash on television for my chance at Nelson Royal. I've chased him through the South, through the East, the West. Last night in Los Angeles, California, I had my chance. Time ran out. That's okay. But I reiterate on the part of this Lawler guy, I don't even know his first name. You know, he must be an idiot. You know, first of all, to tell me no, I'm the heartthrob. I'm Ricky Nelson. And I don't know what you two guys think, and I really don't care. But let me just tell this Lawler something. He's made a big mistake. Number one, he didn't give me the shot. He turned it down. He'll pay for it. And that old man you see in that ring right there with all his experience, that's just fine and dandy. He was around when Noah made the ark. He was around when Billy the Kid got shot. But, baby, the heartthrob is around, and that title will be mine again real soon.
Well, there you hear some strong comments. Well, we know what Ricky Nelson was doing now. Ricky Nelson was wanting this shot that Lawler has for the World Junior Heavyweight Championship, and Lawler, of course, realizing this is a chance of a lifetime, said no. Hey, but I know if Lawler does win it, or if Nelson Royal keeps a hold of this one, they'll be glad to give Ricky Nelson any shot they want.
Ooh. And it seems like Nelson Royal is reserving his title right now for Nelson Royal.
As a high backdrop back to the headlock. Like I told you, Nelson Royal's a wrestling machine. Here you are looking at Nelson Royal taking the head. He's working the head. Wherever that head goes, the body has to go. And as you see, he's got a rear chin lock. Lawler's trying to come out to a wrist lock. He's got the wrist lock on him now. A little bit of pulling the hair right into the arm bar. That's where the brawling part's going to come in. Nelson Royal will soon fight fire with fire. But hey, Danny, I'm looking at our cue man right here. Our man right here, the cameraman's telling us we got to go. We got to go right back to a commercial right now.
MWA Wrestling comes to Cornelia, Georgia, Friday, September the 15th at the Grand Music Hall with a special 8:30 p.m. starting time. That's Cornelia, Georgia, Friday, September the 15th at the Grand Music Hall, 8:30 p.m. starting time. With a big night of wrestling, with the main event being Steve the Brawler Lawler taking on Commando Grizzly Boone in a lumberjack match where the other wrestlers will surround the ring. Mike the Dreammaker Hart and David Isley take on the team of the Purple Haze 1 and 2. That's Mike the Dreammaker Hart and David Isley taking on the Purple Haze. John Michaels, Dino Manelli, the Latin Attraction, Commando, Billy, Bad Boy Eagle, and others will be there. That's Cornelia, Georgia, September the 15th, 8:30 p.m. starting time. Advance tickets at Jiffy Food Basket, the Grand Music Hall, or call 886-6484. That's 886-6484. Now, back to the exciting action of MWA Wrestling.
Right back to you. You're watching MWA Wrestling.
Welcome back to MWA Wrestling, and we're joining the Nelson Royal Steve the Brawler Lawler match already in progress. And the match has just gone back and forth so far. Nelson Royals seems to be on top, and then Steve the Brawler Lawler is on top. At the beginning of the match, we had Ricky Nelson out here, the heartthrob, offered $5,000, I think he said top money, to Steve the Brawler Lawler for Steve's opportunity to wrestle Nelson Royal.
Well, Danny, you're talking about, like you said, the opportunity to wrestling, but we've already gone over that. Steve ain't going to give it up. Nelson's wrestling. Now you're seeing the brawling tactics. Now you're going to see what Lawler's going to do to Nelson Royal. You're going to see what's all going on right here.
Nelson Royal in the turnbuckle. And down goes Steve the Brawler Lawler. One count. Kicks out. Steve the Brawler Lawler kicks out. Nelson Royal taking care of Steve the Brawler Lawler. This has been an exciting match up to this point, and it seems like it's not going to let up. The world's junior heavyweight champion, Nelson Royal, taking on Steve the Brawler Lawler.
Well, you're talking Steve Lawler has got, Nelson Royal's gone back to that headlock on Steve Lawler. Steve has got to figure out a way to get out of this headlock, to stop. Here he goes again. Karate chops to the throat, look like. Throat. There's his patented elbow. He's got one of the meanest elbows I've had to hit my head 100 times. Here he is choking, and like I said, I told you at the start of this match, it's going to be wrestling versus brawling. And Lawler right now is on top, but hey, all it takes is one slip up for a wrestling move to catch it, and it's 1, 2, 3, and Lawler's shot could be over with.
That Junior World's Heavyweight Championship carries a lot of prestige, doesn't it, John?
It carries a lot of prestige. You go all over the world defending. You go to Japan, you go to Italy, you go to France, you go to Spain, Asia, South Africa. Plus, right here in the good old United States, there it is. See the wrestling move I'm telling you about of Nelson Royal, the leg drop. He grabs a hold of the toe hold. He's got the leg. Look how he's got it cinched in there. Lawler is feeling some pain. He's gone from the head now. He's working the leg. What Nelson Royal is going to do to Steve Lawler right now is go whatever body part it can and just wear Lawler out.
So that's his plan, just to wear Steve Lawler out. Steve the Brawler. Oh, there goes Nelson Royal out on the concrete floor. John, how can a man take a fall like that and still survive?
You got to be a wrestler to do it, just about. You got to be willing to go all the way. Now you're talking a world champion. You're talking about a man that's not going to give up for anything. Ricky Nelson came out there. You can see he's upset. Ricky Nelson is wanting Nelson Royal so bad. He does not know what to do. And the referee, of course, sending him back to the dressing room, and here we are back again. Now, Lawler's going to a wrestling hold. Lawler's going to sit on the head. This rear chin lock, the main thing in this for is to work the oxygen down. A powerful body slam there. The big fist to the head. Lawler has one of the hardest punches. Of course, he has his fist taped up all the time. Back to the rear chin lock. Let's cut the oxygen off, keep Nelson Royal down on his back and try to wear Nelson Royal down. He's going to mix it with a little bit of wrestling, but a lot of brawling. Nelson Royal's going to have to figure a way out to slow the pace down, to get it back to a wrestling pace instead of just, right now it's on Lawler's pace, it's a street fight pace.
Nelson Royal and Steve the Brawler Lawler, scientific professional wrestler and a brawler in the ring right now. And at stake, the Junior World's Heavyweight Championship. If Steve the Brawler Lawler manages to defeat Nelson Royal, then Steve will become the Junior World's Heavyweight Champion, wrestling all over the world. A lot of prestige. And in the wings, Ricky Nelson, the heartthrob, is wanting a chance at Nelson Royal.
Look, Lawler has a sleeper cinch, and he has worn Nelson Royal down. Nelson is getting down. He's tired now. He's been trying everything he can. This is what I'm saying. Lawler can keep on going. Even though Nelson has the experience, Lawler can keep on going. Wait a minute, what is this? Ricky Nelson's hitting the ring.
Ricky Nelson's in the ring. He's working on Steve Lawler. He's Ricky Nelson. Ricky the heartthrob Nelson taking on Steve the Brawler Lawler. And now he's got his man, Nelson Royal. Nelson Royal taking punishment from Steve the Brawler Lawler. I'm sorry, from Ricky Nelson. I'm confused, John.
Well, it's Ricky Nelson out, Nelson Royal. We got three guys in here wanting a World Junior Heavyweight Championship real bad. Now Lawler's hitting Nelson Royal behind.
Two of them, Steve the Brawler Lawler, Ricky Nelson, working on Nelson Royal. Nelson Royal taking a lot of punishment from two opponents. It seems like it's a three-way battle. It's going against Nelson Royal. Then it's Steve the Brawler Lawler and Ricky Nelson. Ricky Nelson and Nelson Royal. Steve the Brawler Lawler and Nelson Royal. Steve the Brawler Lawler and Ricky Nelson. I just don't know. I've never seen anything like this in all my days of wrestling. It seems like the referee, though, has gained control, John.
The referee has gained control. I don't know if there is a winner in this match. I believe it's all over. Ricky Nelson wanting Nelson Royal. Steve Lawler's wanting Ricky Nelson. Nelson Royal's wanting...
MWA Wrestling is waiting to come to your town. To bring MWA Wrestling to your town, call 404-245-0151. Yes, all the top stars of MWA Wrestling can come to your town, such as Abdul the Butcher, the 800-plus pound team of the Commandos, the Fantastics, the Rock and Roll Express, and yes, Mike, the Dreammaker Hart, the sensational one, can come to your town. To bring MWA Wrestling to your town, call 404-245-0151. Civic groups, high school clubs, booster clubs, private sponsors. To bring MWA Wrestling to your town, just call 404-245-0151.
Championship Wrestling at its best. Championship Wrestling at its best is MWA Wrestling. I'm Danny Gable with Dino Manelli.
You know, you've seen the technician, and you've seen the giants in the commandos. Now you're going to see complete and utter destruction by the only man that can complete that task. Nobody in wrestling demolishes or is as vicious as this man right here in the middle of the ring.
The man Abdullah the Butcher from Khartoum, Sudan, 400+ pounds. His opponent didn't have time to get into the ring. Ooh! His opponent, Jim Birch, on the floor. It seems like that...
It's vicious. It's vicious. It's utterly vicious. The man does not care. He does anything that he has to do. Now you got your technicians, you got your big men, now you got your animals right here. The man is totally vicious.
It seems like Abdullah the Butcher delights in destroying his opponent. Blood, as you can see there on the forehead of Mr. Birch, bleeding ferociously. Jim Birch suffering in pain.
He hasn't begun to suffer yet because this man is not through. Watch him closely. This is what it's all about.
Does he have something in his hand? What is that?
I haven't seen anything in his hand.
Looks like he has...
Dinner time, isn't it?
Is that a fork? Surely he's not using a fork on his forehead.
I don't know. I thought it was dinner time. Didn't you think it was dinner time?
I think I'll move, Dino. Oh! Dino, just back up. I know that you don't want to tangle with Abdullah the Butcher.
No, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. I don't have any plans on tangling with him. I'm enjoying it.
How can you enjoy something like that? I don't understand that. Look at Jim's head.
I told you, there's 3 different types of wrestlers. There's a technician, okay? There's a technician, as myself and Rick Nelson. Then you got the big men as the commandos. And then you got Abdullah the Butcher, and there's no word to describe Abdullah the Butcher.
This man's in pain. This man's really suffering. Look at his forehead.
That's not suffering. That's not suffering. I told you, he's not through yet.
How can you delight in something like that?
I told you, there's only 3 types of wrestlers. I am one, Commandos are another, and Abdullah is just nothing like Abdullah the Butcher. Nothing at all like it. It's a joy. It's a joy. It just does something to my heart to watch this man work. I enjoy it.
It does something to my something, but it's not my heart to see another human being totally destroy a human being like he just did.
Hey, if he didn't want to be, you know, he didn't have to get in that ring. Nobody made him get in there. He got in there with the intention that he was going to do that to that man right there. And it was his misfortune that he got in there with that attitude, because as he's finding out, this is what vicious is all about right here.
And speaking of vicious, Abdullah the Butcher is totally demolishing Mr. Birch. He's working on James Birch, punishing him, blows to the head, to the forehead. The forehead is already bleeding through.
No matter how vicious this man is, what have I been telling you this whole entire hour? What have I been telling you? What do you do as a wrestler? You stick with one body part. And it looks to me as he's stuck with one body part, and he's kind of making it a little bigger than it was when he came in the ring. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, he's made holes in the man's forehead. And this is not wrestling. This is a savage situation here.
How many times do I have to tell you? Now, see, did you see what happened just there? Nobody gets up from that. Nobody gets up.
It's all over. It's all over, and Abdullah the Butcher has completely destroyed James Birch. Completely destroyed him. He's laying in the floor. Abdullah the Butcher hasn't stopped yet. He's still working on him, Dino. We have blood all over our announcing booth here.
Hey, you know, a little blood doesn't hurt anybody. I enjoy the sight of blood every once in a while.
Well, I'm sorry, but I can't say that I enjoy the sight of blood. And I can't say that I enjoy what's going on in the ring now.
Oh, I'm just, you know, I told you, he's not through till he's through. And when Abdullah the Butcher is through, he'll let you know because he leaves.
Well, action like that action like that, if it was left up to me, would not be seen in MWA territory. It's probably a good thing that I'm only employed here.
How many times do I got to tell you there's 3 types of wrestlers? There's a technician such as myself. There's the big men, such as the Commandos. There's a technician such as Ricky Nelson. And then you got the vicious attacks of Abdullah the Butcher.
How do vicious people like Abdullah the Butcher get into wrestling? I'm not getting near him. I'm sorry. He may be your friend, but I'm sorry, Mr. Manelli. When he looks at me, I'm backing up. I am backing up, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with more MWA wrestling action right after this message.
Welcome back to Atlantic Coast Wrestling, fans. It's pretty boy Doug Summers with the blonde hair and the black trunks unceremoniously unloads on Tommy Angel. And Joe, at ringside, we got an extra little dose of bad medicine.
That's right. Here we see him. He's at ringside with Doug Summers. That's Colt Steele. Can you believe Doug Summers started off this match trying to shake hands, and unfortunately, Tommy Angel thought maybe he meant it.
You know, you never know, and you got to give everybody the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But I'd think twice before giving Doug Summers the benefit of anything.
Yeah, well, right there you see again, Colt Steele is at ringside with Doug Summers.
And I got to worry about this because of the spot Colt Steele put himself in last week on Atlantic Coast Wrestling. Apparently, he's hired out to the world's junior heavyweight champion, Nelson Royal, who we'll see a little bit later this hour, to be a stumbling block in the path of Scott Armstrong. Yeah. Royal said last week that the only way that Scott's going to get him in the ring, speaking of himself, the world's junior champion, is to get a win over Colt Steele, something that not a whole lot of guys can claim they've done.
No, that's true, and it's especially hard when Colt Steele is not giving Scott the opportunity.
No, sir.
I mean, that makes it a little bit more difficult.
Doug Summers moving in now on Tommy Angel, but don't sell Tommy Angel short. He kind of got cheap-shotted and suckered here at the start of this match, but here's a young guy that's got the world by the tail. He's a fantastic athlete. He's a nice young man to boot.
True.
And he's got a tremendous amount of wrestling talent.
The young ladies in the area are really getting tuned in to Tommy Angel. And, of course, when you take a look at some of the young fellows we've got here in Atlantic Coast Wrestling, it is a, how should I say this politely, it is a paradise for the young ladies.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Want to remind our fans at home, if you've got a club or a civic organization and you're looking for a way to raise some money for your various events that go on and on through the year, let me suggest Atlantic Coast Wrestling. We'd love to be a part of your fundraising activities. On the screen, you'll see the address and phone number you can reach us at. Contact Crown Promotions Incorporated. Post Office Box 1251, Mooresville, North Carolina, 28115. Or you can call us at area code 704-664-9770. Be glad to give you all the details about Atlantic Coast Wrestling.
All right, it's a great way for a fundraiser in your town. And Colt Steele now urging Doug Summers on.
Cheerleader, hitman, who knows what role Colt Steele is playing out there.
Well, right now I'm satisfied that he's just sitting out there behaving. As long as he'll just keep himself out of this match, give Tommy Angel an opportunity here against Doug Summers. And look at this beautiful move by Summers. Brings Tommy Angel down, and Colt Steele happy with that move, and seems to be very easy. Oh!
Doug Summers driving that knee across the head of Tommy Angel. My granny, who's from Nashville, North Carolina, always used to say, when you lay in the pig slop, you're going to get dirty. Something that Colt Steele better keep on his mind.
And Tommy Angel was ready. He wasn't down quite enough for Doug Summers to try that move on. And Tommy Angel got up in time, went, and a big slam off the turnbuckle for Doug Summers.
Here's what I was telling you about that intestinal fortitude and that drive to succeed that burns in young Tommy Angel. He saw the doom of Doug Summers on the top rope and went out
and did something about it, and he's turned this match completely on in just the last couple of seconds.
I don't think there's any doubt that the adrenaline is flowing through the veins of Tommy Angel. And now a beautiful move here as he's got the abdominal stretch. Beautiful move, and he's got it hooked in. Now, what we've got to see is, does he have those legs hooked enough?
He sure does. He's got it clacked in, textbook perfect on pretty boy Doug Summers, putting all his weight on the small of the back and in the intestinal area. Doug Summers cranking in for all it's worth, and it looks like it's starting to take its toll.
Doug Summers able to pull him over, unhook that leg, but it doesn't do Doug a lot of good as he is down. He has got to be in a lot of pain right now.
Well, it's one thing Doug Summers certainly has, I imagine, gotten used to over the years of professional wrestling.
Right
a great deal of pain. Tommy Angel right back to the hole that was working for him before, clamping in the abdominal stretch. Got to be a tremendously painful experience for Doug Summers.
Now, this time he's not able to hook that foot around the leg. There he's trying. Oh, he almost had it again. This is what has been enabling Summers to flip Tommy Angel out of that abdominal stretch, was when he was able to keep him from hooking the foot. But as we can see, it has done some damage to Doug Summers.
Angel driving a couple of boots into the small of the back as Colt Steele, a little more worried expression on this young man's face.
A little bit of concern now.
Watching his buddy Doug Summers get his. Angel fires, pretty boy to the ropes, belly to belly suplex. Here comes Colt Steele from behind.
Now, Rick Stewart, you had to know that Colt Steele was going to pull it down. Oh, look at this. Todd Champion in the ring. Tommy Angel's partner is in the ring, and he's cleaning house. He is not going to allow this type of thing on his partner, Tommy Angel. And there you see Doug Summers and Colt Steele, and I don't think that one turned out exactly the way they planned. As the disqualification comes into play, the referee gives the match to Tommy Angel. Can we go back and take a look, if we can, out in the truck and see what happened? A beautiful, beautiful belly back here. And evidently, Colt Steele was of the opinion that Doug Summers was down for the count because he is so anxious to get in the ring and stop the count. And he comes flying across here now and lands on Tommy. A big kick stopping the count. The referee immediately disqualifies him. Luckily, Todd Champion came in right now. Standing by, we've got Colt Steele and Doug Summers, but let's see what they have to say.
Fans that don't know quite what to make of this. 1 week ago, Colt Steele hiring himself out as a hitman for the world's junior champion, Nelson Royal. This time, saves Doug Summers from almost certain defeat.
Say, there was no save. Let me tell you something, Stuart. When the ACW will get down and put enough money out to get an official that can see when a man is cheating. He had my trunks. He was using fists. He had the hair. The man is a cheat. I said, put your name on a contract and get in the ring. But I'm not going in the ring and wrestling 2 men or 3 men. I want a fair referee.
Man, it's hard for me to believe.
I don't like people cheating. I don't cheat. I go by the rules. Don't you get me started.
No, sir. Well, I didn't mean any offense, Mr. Summers. It's just hard for me to believe that Colt Steele has to save Doug Summers from unfair play.
September the 8th, Livonia, Georgia, MWA Wrestling's coming to town. A big card, the Commandos, John Michael, and another big star is going to be there, World Junior Heavyweight Champion Nelson Royal. Nelson, I hear Livonia's a big town for you.
Yeah, I've been down in Livonia. There's people down there that I used to do some horse business with. Looking forward to coming back, but the big thing that we're looking for is Ricky Nelson. And Ricky Nelson, you've been running your mouth. You've been saying all of these things that you want to wrestle Nelson Royal for World Junior Heavyweight title. Well, son, I've been a world's champion for 9 years. People like you have been trying to get it, and I've been lucky, or I have the ability, whatever you want to call it, I'm still a world's champion. And believe me, son, when you come in the ring, you better look at me and know that you got one thing to do, and that's wrestle me, because I am a wrestler. I don't go out there and do anything else but wrestle, and I want you to know, when I get after you, you better tie your boots on tight, son, because I'll eat your lunch.
The team of Jamit Mitch Snow and Scott Superkick Armstrong. This
Georgia's scripted song for Atlantic Coast Wrestling. Welcome to the jungle.
There you go.
A jungle is tag team and singles competition. And as Scott Armstrong says, I mean, the time for words between him and Nelson Royal has almost got to be over. Something's got to give, and it's got to give inside the ring.
Well, I know that Scott Armstrong has been chasing Nelson Royal all over the Atlantic Coast area. And I do understand that negotiations are getting close, and that the ACW board may very well force Nelson Royal into the ring with Scott Armstrong.
Yeah, but 30 days is 30 days, and we just saw
That's
Nelson
right.
Royal defend. Plus, out of his own mouth, he's thrown the stumbling block in the path of Scott. The hitman, the bounty man, Cole Steele, who is a handful for anybody, brother.
That's true, and that would be quite a match on its own. Colt Steele versus Scott Superkick Armstrong. Mitch Snow now with a good move on George South. Brings him down and puts that weight on George South, driving South into the mat.
Mitch and Scott just excited as they can be about having an opportunity to team up with other. I know that it's been bubbling around in the back of their minds for some time. They've been in different areas across the country, but they've always kind of nurtured the idea that one day they'd end up a tag team. Now it's coming true for them here in the Atlantic Coast area.
That's right. I know that when Mitch Snow was in another area one time a few months ago, he had made the comment that there were several people out there he felt he could form a true partnership and a really good team with.
Hang on, Armstrong behind. He almost just put George South away. Look at the expression of out-and-out outrage on the face of George South.
Well, you know, he has not had things going his way too much in this match.
George is quite a capable young man, though, and he's the kind of guy that you can't ever take your eyes off. All it takes, one teeny tiny mistake, and George South can slither right in there and put you flat on the canvas.
Well, I don't mind telling you, I remember my most vivid memory of George South in a match against a world heavyweight champion.
Yes,
recently.
I saw that one.
And as a matter of fact, if it had not been for a mistake on the part of George South, there's no telling what might have happened, because he had the champion going quite heavy in that match.
You never know what's going to go on inside the squared circle. Always action and excitement, especially when you see the banner of Atlantic Coast Wrestling, and especially when you see dynamic young stars like Scott Armstrong and Mitch Snow.
You know, I would like to, if I can, pass something along to you on Pro Wrestling This Week. Recently, they had an awards program that we were a part of course, and Atlantic Coast Wrestling was named the best new area of 1988.
Well, fantastic. I know that makes me feel good to be associated with it.
And I know to be here and be reporting on it. And,
it bodes well for the
trophy.
fans at home. You know what I mean? Yep. Because as the promotion of Atlantic Coast Wrestling works to bring the great stars into this area, the ones that benefit the most are the fans, because they get to see the stars that they want to see in matches that they want to see their face in.
Hey, well, let's not kid anybody. The Carolinas has been the headquarters for wrestling for many, many years. And Atlantic Coast Wrestling is here to pick up that banner, pick up that challenge, and run with it. And they are doing an outstanding job of keeping the Carolinas in the forefront of professional wrestling.
Some of my most vivid memories as a youngster, we're going to Granny's house and getting a chance to watch all the great stars of this area, including the late, the fabulous Johnny Valentine and some others. I won't go into that right now.
Right now, we're seeing some of the young stars of today in the ring, and Scott Armstrong having a hard time right now with John Savage.
Savage, a tremendously developed young man. You can tell that he spends a lot of time working on his upper body, because he certainly looks like he's in phenomenal shape.
Well, right there, you see some concern on the face of Mitch Snow, but in the ring, Scott Armstrong able to break out of that. Tags to George South. South now comes in, throws off Scott. Oh,
what we were talking about. All it takes is momentary lapse of attention, and George South has the physical tools to turn things around instantaneously.
Able to move out, makes the tag. Mitch Snow comes in the ring. It's he and George South now into the ropes. Beautiful flying drop kick right into the face. George South takes now.
And look at how he made the tag on the rebound. Oh! Right on the money, baby.
We saw a close-up of that super kick. Whoa. And I tell you what, as close-up as we saw it, it wasn't as close-up as George South. There are your winners.
MWA Wrestling comes to Livonia, Georgia at the National Guard Armory. That's MWA Wrestling in Livonia, Georgia, National Guard Armory, Friday, September 8th at 8 p.m. with 5 big matches, a double main event, 10-man over-the-top rope battle royal, 800-plus pound commandos, Grizzly Boone and Billy Bad Boy Eagle take on John Michaels and Steve Lawler. Dino Manelli challenges Nelson Royal for the World Junior Heavyweight title. And Mike, the Dream Maker Hart, yes, Mike, the Dream Maker Hart comes to Livonia, girls. He's coming. Purple Haze, David Isley, and others will be there. Get your advance tickets in Livonia from Beasley Auto Parts, Anderson Independent Office, and Video Cinema. Go to Hartwell and you can pick your tickets up at Holmes Auto Parts. That's Livonia, Georgia, September 8th at the National Guard Armory. MWA Wrestling returns to Cornelia, Georgia, September the 15th at the Grand Music Hall with an 8:30 p.m. That's 8:30 p.m. starting time in Cornelia on Friday, the September the 15th at the Grand Music Hall. A big night of wrestling with the main event being Grizzly Boone. That's right, Commando Boone takes on Steve the Brawler Lawler in a lumberjack match. The other wrestlers will surround the ring. Mike the Dream Maker Hart and David Isley. Yes, the sensational Mike the Dream Maker Hart and David Isley take on the Purple Haze. John Michaels, Dino Manelli, Commando, Billy Bad Boy Eagle, and others. For advance tickets, go to Jiffy Food Mart. Frank Glore can be reached at 886-6484, and tickets are also available at the Grand Music Hall in Cornelia, Georgia, Friday, September the 15th. Don't miss it.
MWA Wrestling is coming to Livonia, Georgia on September 8th. You'll see such stars as Nelson Royal, John Michaels. The Commandos will be there.
That's right. Be there and just go away. Just go away. Livonia, September the 8th. We're coming back there. Been a long time since you had something like this coming to Livonia, Georgia. Yeah, Nelson Royal's going to be there. John Michaels is going to be there. I don't know who might be there. It doesn't matter. We're going to be there. The Commandos, 800-plus pounds, Livonia, Georgia. National Guard Armory, September the 8th. You go on down to Beasley's Auto Parts, you get your tickets. You go on over to the Anderson Independent, you get your tickets there. You rush on down to the Video Cinema, you get your tickets there. I don't care where you get your tickets at, people, but you better get them quick. We're coming there. John Michaels, we're going to beat you. We'll beat Steve Lawler up. We done beat your brother up. We're both up again. Who can stop this? 800-plus pounds. Livonia, September the 8th at the Armory. Be there, boys.
A lot of action here in MWA country. The Commandos. Commando Boone, 455 pounds, and Billy Bad Boy Eagle there, his partner, really working on their opponents. John, the Commandos are new to MWA territory, aren't they?
They're not new to the MWA territory. They're new. They're old news to everybody. They've been all over the world, all over Japan, Puerto Rico. They were just destroying people. These two men get out and they actually just try to destroy everybody they get a hold of. They try to kill them. And it's just, you know, I feel bad for these guys here. They're big fellas. You got Pistol Pete here and you got Hunter Thompson. They're big fellas, but they're just not for the size. I'm glad I'm watching this match. I got to take on Grizzly Boone or Commando Boone. You got Commando Boone, I believe Commando Billy now, and I'm going to have to take on Commando Boone next week. And, you know, it's like I said, the match was signed. I signed open contracts coming to MWA, and it just so happens Boone is taking on the contract next week. I'm able to see it, but hey, you're talking power, these two guys, the experience and everything. I'm going to try to do a lot of different other things to him, but hey, right now you're talking about some tag team right here that I don't believe there's a tag team in the world bigger than them. It's probably the biggest tag team in the world right now, and they just literally destroy everybody they walk near.
Combined weight of over 800 pounds. And Commando Boone is out to collect the bounty on John Michaels. Would you like to make some comment about that?
Well, he can come try to collect it all he wants to. He might be able to. He might not be able to. He's a big man. I've wrestled him before. But, hey, you know, it's like I said, he is just a tough individual. And his Billy Eagle, knee to the midsection, he is just tough. They just literally destroy people. These two guys haven't had a chance. They've been here. You're talking about two men that their face painted up. I don't know what their problems are. They just come out as big as they are. Like I said, I don't know a tag team in the world that is as big as they are that could take them on and really give them a good match.
Combined weight of over 800 pounds. The Commandos, Commando Boone and Commando Eagle. We're getting over here.
Talking about Commando Boone taking on the black guy here, taking on Pistol Pete, just destroying him right here and everything. Hey, come on, y'all calm it down now. Y'all give him a chance.
You hear John Michaels there. Hey, come on. Oh, what a blow.
Wait a minute. What's going on here? This is not your match. John, wait a minute. What? John, what's going on here? Let's get some help out here. What? Ladies and gentlemen, I've never seen anything like this. The Commandos have just gone wild. Oh, what's going on? John Michaels is down on the floor. Commando Boone is working on him. He's working on him. Let's get this thing stopped. Oh, there goes John Michaels' head in a chair. Commando Boone is working on him. Both of the Commandos working on John Michaels, ladies and gentlemen. And there he goes. He's grabbed one of the fans. He breaks the camera. Ladies and gentlemen, we're out of time. See you next week here on MWA Wrestling. This beats anything I've ever seen. What's going on here? We need some help out here. Maybe we can get this stopped. We need to get somebody out here that can help out John Michaels.